Ezras Hashem, Hilchos Rosh Hashanah. Arizal said, "Kol mein Zach is Rosh Hashanah." Main thing, main day, the entire year is Rosh Hashanah, according to Rabbi Nachman. The reason is because the Yom Yutzaru Oy Echad Lahem, the Gemara says is one day of the year that's most important. And that day, the Gemara Dashins is Yom Kippur. But Yom Kippur is the culmination, the climax of the Aseret Yemei Teshuva, time when the Chasima takes place for every person, and for a tzadik, not for a tzadik emes, Chasima, Achtanim, the Alta L'Chayim. Chasima is on the first day, which is Rosh Hashanah. All those attached to the tzadik emes are like the tzadik emes. They merge and become part of the tzadik emes, and therefore for them too, tzadik emes is mala, his chasidim, the same time that he himself goes up. So therefore the chasima for every person attached akusha to the tzadik emes is Rosh Hashanah. And that's why the ikir of the Aseret Yemei Teshuva is Rosh Hashanah rather than Yom Kippur. And the reason Rosh Hashanah too is that important is that Rosh Hashanah is the combination of the Gimel Roshim, 3 heads, the one who davens in the minyan, the kusha to the tzadik emes, the Arizal's minyan. That person has there the 3 Roshim, one the Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year, that's the Chama, the sun. Second, it comes out on the Shchedish, Ravana. Third, the Rosh Bayis, the tzadik emes. These 3 Roshim come together, a person can be zecher to a complete tikkun. Therefore, Rabbi Nachman says that on Rosh Hashanah, he himself can effect a tikkun which he couldn't do himself during the entire year. So that a person coming to the minyan, the Arizal's minyan, should come there with a Rosh too, the Kavod Rosh, very serious-minded. Kavod Rosh means a person should come very seriously, a deep feeling of tshuva, think over carefully his meisim, his madrega, his matzav, and become with a desire for true tshuva, a desire to become more strongly the kusha to the tzadik emes, a desire to start new. Rosh, let this be a new beginning for himself. Let him be zecher that the past should be entirely erased, complete slicha mechila v'kapora, and to make a true haskola hadosha b'avodas Hashem. That's why the Hashanah should be taken as the holiest day of the year, and to come to this tefillah with the tikva, with the hope, and with a feeling of simcha, Ashleinu, that we are zecher, the mispalel, in Rabbi Nachman's minyan, that we are zecher to this opportunity to be able to receive such a tikkun, a guf, a nefesh, ruach, and neshama. The minhag is, according to some, that slichos is begun from the Shchedish Elul. We begin saying slichos before the new year starts. We have to do first complete tshuva of the past year. The minhag is to say slichos for the Shchedish Elul because that's called Yemei Ratzon, time when Hashem is more willing, more acceptable to the tshuva of the Jews. Since the Shchedish Elul was the day in which Moshe Rabbeinu went up to heaven to receive the chila for the Achet HaEgel. We spent those 40 days from the Shchedish Elul until Yom Kippur. Therefore, we too say slichos from the Shchedish Elul until Yom Kippur. These 40 days are spent on tshuva. However, the Gemara says that our minhag is to start from the Sunday before Rosh Hashanah. The reason, the time for this minhag is that Chaf Hei Elul, rather than Rosh Hashanah, is the Yom B'riyas Olam. So, though Rosh Hashanah is the Yom Hadin for a person, for Adam, he was created on Rosh Hashanah, still, since the world itself was created on Chaf Hei Elul, it's only fitting to have each person who is an Olam Kotten to begin Slichos Teshuva on Chatei Elul. However, since Chatei Elul is not a set time of the week, to come out at different times, so we start on Sunday when the original Chatei Elul came out. First day of B'riyas Olam was on Sunday. We start saying Slichos on Sunday before Rosh Hashanah. Although now it's an impossibility. The klal is lei adu reish. If Chatei Elul comes out on Sunday, I mean Rosh Hashanah has to come out on Friday. The sixth day of B'riyas Olam is Friday. And this can never happen now because Rosh Hashanah can never come out on adu. Aleph Dalet Vav, it's Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. Still, because of the fact that B'riyas Olam was on Chatei Elul and it came out on Sunday, therefore we maintain this minhag to start Slichos on Sunday. We start saying Slichos the first time on Saturday night, though it is best to say Slichos b'Hashmonos HaBoker just before the morning star comes up, because that's the greatest Eis Ratzon, time when there's a much stronger Rachamim in heaven. Still, the first night itself, we start at night meaning after Chatzos, after midnight, because of the fact that the Pismain, Slichos in the first night, has the word B'Za'akon, the Oid Layo. They cry out when it is still night. And night, of course, means the earlier part of the night. Layo, of course, according to the Arizal, Zayda Kodesh is before Chatzos yet. So just as Chatzos ends, as Layo ends, and Laila begins just after Chatzos, then we start saying the Slichos. So the first night, we begin saying Slichos immediately after Chatzos. This, the Arizal warns very strongly that it is absolutely usher to say Slichos before Chatzos. Because in the Slichos we say Yudil Midos Sharachman, and these Yudil Midos are absolutely forbidden to say before Chatzos, except once a year on Yom Kippur. Our minhag too is, since we do not follow the minhag of saying Slichos from the Shvedish Elul, at least to comply partially with that minhag, we blow shofar every day from the second day of the Shvedish Elul, which means the first day of the month of Elul on. We also say the David Hashem Eidi from the Shvedish Elul on too. Shofar is blown every day except Erev Rosh Hashanah. The mafsik make a separation between the tekiyas of the shus, the permissible, tekiyas that are a kiruv. That day we stop blowing shofar. In a sense, it's like not eating matzah Erev Pesach. In that similar sense, so too do we not blow shofar Erev Rosh Hashanah. Interesting to note about the Yud Gimel Midos Sharachman. The posek it says, "Vayavad Hashem Aponav Vayikra Hashem Kei Arachon V'Chanon Erech Apayim V'Al Chesed V'Emes Leitech Chesed V'Alofim Neisei Oben Nefesh Chatzah V'Nakei." The question is, which 13 words are the Yud Gimel Midos Sharachman? In the Sefer Chasidim, he says that begins with the word Rachom. Rachom is the first, Hana is the second, the Zohar. Tosfos on the Shoshana says, brings up the question of where it begins. Hashem, Kei Rachom V'Chanon. Which is the first one? Is it the first Hashem, or does it start from the second Hashem? Tosfos leans towards the opinion that it's the second Hashem, which is the first one. In other words, Yavad Hashem Aponav, Yikra Hashem, and Hashem calls Hashem Kei Rachom V'Chanon. That the first Hashem belongs to the second. The second Hashem is the first one of the Yud Gimel Midos. Kei is the second, Rachom is the third. The Arizal says that the reason that we find Tosfos and the Sefer Chasidim state Tikuney Zohar starts from either Hashem or Rachum, it's because at that time the Zohar Kodesh and Arizal was not Nizgala yet. Therefore, the true Tikuney Zohar were hidden. We find even, for example, the Rosh says that we have to say, not like this, it says, Rosh Hashanah says this. So Tikuney Zohar starts from the first Hashem, because if it would be the second Hashem, then the minig would be that the Chazan would say, Yalad Hashem Apanav Yikra Hashem, but the Olam would start with Hashem Keracham Echana. Since the Chazan ends with the word Vayikra, and the Olam calls out Hashem Keracham Echana, it shows that both words Hashem are part of the Tikuney Zohar. However, the Zohar Kodesh Arizal states very explicitly, very clearly, that the Tikuney Zohar are the exact. First one is Keo, second one is Rachum, third is Aharon, fourth is Erech, fifth is Apayim, sixth is Rav Chesed, seventh is Behemoth, eighth is Moshe Chesed, ninth is La'alatim, 10th is Moshe Aharon, the 11th is Besha, 12th is Torah, 13th is Menachem. This of the Kabbalah is the correct seder of the Tikuney Zohar. Clearly, then is that, if possible, it is best for a person to stand up during the entire time of saying the slichos. Not at least during the saying of the Tikuney Zohar. He must stand. And the Chazan says, Vayikra b'shem Hashem, and then says, he must be mastik. Vayikra b'shem, mastik, and then say Hashem. Then are they about Tefillah, about the Keah, or Rosh Hashanah. Not about Tefillah, it says that you're supposed to select one who is more fitting, more humble, and that is one who is greater in Torah and nice and Tevin. One who possesses the most Torah and nice and Tevin, one can find he is the one that should say Slichos and be the Chazan Shliach Tzibur for the Yom Nanoim, the Shani and Kippur. Above all, he should be married. However, much more important than these requirements, most important above all is that he should be in Menachem Mendel Schneerson. The entire Kol should be satisfied with him, because if the Kol is Menachem, is satisfied, then his tefillos are Menachem Lamala. Automatically his tefillos are accepted above in heaven. Because where there is Shalom Lamata, if there is peace among the Kol Lamata, there's no machlekes about one wants this chazan, the other one wants that chazan, all agree upon this Baal Tefillah, automatically then Hashem says, I join in with them. The Shekhinah joins with them, where there's one das, the Shekhinah agrees to, and the Shekhinah, the Shemayim, accepts the tefillos of this Baal Tefillah, the Shliach Tzibur. So too, the Baal Tefillah also should be selected according to the same rules, and both the Shliach Tzibur and Baal Tefillah should learn the dinim of tefillah and tekiyos before Rosh Hashanah, and should try their best to do tshuva gemuda, complete tshuva before Rosh Hashanah. If 1 year the tefillah or the tekiyah is chas v'shalom sick, they cannot take care of these duties, and someone else replaces them, then is it the following year they must receive this position back. I mean, they cannot be replaced permanently. This holds true even with the Tefillah Batakea, a long leave of absence for a number of years. You can never lose the Chazaka. Being about Tefillah Batakea, but he cannot be replaced under any conditions. Erev Rosh Hashanah is the last day of the year. The last day of the year is a time when a person should do Teshuva for the entire year. Therefore, on that day, we have a much longer slichos said. A person should strive on that day to really do Teshuva b'emes. That's why it's customary that morning, the most important time, the greatest esteemed for Tikuney Zohar to be said. The most important time, we want to visit Syrian Jewish, and it's a time when the Teshuva is most acceptable. Also, the mikveh on that day is the most important mikveh of the year, similar to the mikveh of Shavuos. And the custom, of course, number of times, the table according to the Arizal, it's at least 4 times, connected the Dalet Asius of Hashem. Some people are table 13 times, connected the Yom Shadachman. Some are table 39 times to accept the equivalent of Malchus, or to accept the Tal Edes. Others are table 310 times. The Menachem says Tikuney or Asius Yaakov, connected the other Asius. Some as much as 613 times. These are minhagim. Tikkun is the person to be table to receive this tada. Also, it is a minig to go to the Beis HaKvoros on that day. The Syrian and tzadikim ask them to be mispal for us too. And Arizal says in going to the Beis HaKvoros, a person should be tzadik on 2 things. One, not to visit a kever twice on the same day. Secondly, when putting his hand on a tzion, never to put his right hand on, only his left hand. So it is understood that the mitzvah of giving tzedakah Erev Rosh Hashanah is part of the big tikkun of Teshuva, tefillah, and tzedakah. It's also a minhag to be matin neder Erev Rosh Hashanah. Minig 2 is, if possible, Matin Neder Erev Yom Kippur also. Arizal says that the Indian Achval of Torah and Doran is, in Torah we find that a Baal Meife Nidrei Ishtay, the husband is given the power of the Torah, he Meife take away, remove the Neder of his wife. So the Mokkah of Neder is the Indian of Bina. It employs Pella. Neder is Bina, and Neder is Chal on a Devar Mitzvah. Why? Because Mitzvah is Malchus. The Arizal says that Mitzvah is the Asius Mem Tzadik Vav K. Mem Tzadik Atash is Yud K. Combined with Yud K Vav K. The Arizal brings a question that Mitzvah is Malchus, and therefore Neder Bina is Chal on Mitzvah, which is Malchus. Now, a Chacham is Mati Neder because a Chachma is Abba. That's the Baal Bina, the husband of Bina, Abba and Ima. So, since the Baal is Meife Neder Ishtay, therefore the Chacham is Mati the Neder. Chacham is Chachma, Neder is Bina, Chacham is the Pali, Mati the Neder. Therefore, this union of HaTorah and the Doran on Erev Rosh Hashanah. Seder of Tefillos on Rosh Hashanah and throughout the Seder Yemei Teshuva, we add to the Shemona Esrei, Zocheinu L'Chaim, Michamecha, Uchseiv, and B'Sefer Chaim. If a person forgot to say those words, those phrases, or he's in doubt, he's not required to say over the Shemona Esrei. Same thing holds true in a Seder Yemei Teshuva with Melech Oihet Tzedakah Mishpat. We say HaMelech HaMishpat. If he's in doubt whether he said it, or he's certain he didn't say it, he does not say over the Shemona Esrei. The only time he does say it over is with the words HaMelech HaKodesh. Then the Shemona Esrei must be said over. In the Tefillos, the words Chol Arisha Kula Be'oshon Tichla. The Machlekes Tosken, whether we say Kula Be'oshon Tichla or Kula Ke'oshon Tichla. The Tikuney Zohar says the Fedish that the correct phrase is Kula Be'oshon Tichla. On the first night of Rosh Hashanah, after davening, it is a minhag to say to each person, Lashon Teva Tikosev V'Seich Hasein. Achlekes whether to include the word V'Seich Hasein, since the Chasima actually takes place on Yom Kippur. According to the Gerah, a person should say only Lashon Teva Tikosev. Magen Avraham, however, holds that a person should say V'Seich Hasein also. The reason being that he has done his chava l'kafschus, saying that he considers him a tzadik and that he is nechta v'nechtam li'alta l'chayim. A person who is done other l'kafschus is himself lidin l'kafschus b'shamayim. Therefore, a person can be zecher to a chasimu l'chayim the first night because of the fact that he's done other l'kafschus. This, of course, is our minhag too. The Taz says that this should may be said the second night also. Magen Avraham holds that we again are done l'kafschus, that we were zecher to be nidain and nechtam the first night alone, and therefore these words are said only the first night. On the night of Rosh Hashanah, it is customary to eat zvonim mesukim, things that are sweet, especially to dip the maitzi in honey, and to dip an apple in honey, a piece of apple in honey, and after the bracha, and after having eaten, then to say, that there should be no hefsek between the bracha and the eating. There are shilas to certain foods that should not be eaten on Rosh Hashanah, and the klal is that whatever is sweet, whatever is good, that we eat, and we apply a comparison to something good. For example, we eat carrots. That means, in Yiddish, the word is meren, and we say they should increase our zachusim. Mashal says we should not eat dogim. Now there's two, because the word dog comes from the word doyeg, to worry. A person should not have any worries on Rosh Hashanah. He should be mali simcha. However, again, the person can say we do eat fish because dog is an Indian of being fruitful, and to the head of a fish is a symbol of being a rosh on Rosh Hashanah. Whenever there is a good symbol that can be applied to it, we permit it. It is a minhag not to sleep at all on Rosh Hashanah, even if it comes out on Shabbos. Now, though it is brought that Arizal slept on Rosh Hashanah, it says that halavai we should be zecher to accomplish. We are awake, a fraction of what Arizal accomplished when he slept. Not the lashon of Yerushalmi that says that one who sleeps on Rosh Hashanah, chas v'sholem, his mazel sleeps. It means chashon he has no mazel. A person should be very careful to avoid sleeping these 2 days. Especially two, should a person be extremely careful, extraordinary degree, to avoid kas on these 2 days, because there's nothing that can be teidef, that can tear chas v'sholem the neshama apart as the midah of kas chas v'sholem. And therefore, too, a person should be zohir to follow the minhag of saying tehillim on Rosh Hashanah. If he does not sleep, they then said that if he's yeshiv bottle, he sits idly, that is considered the same as yoshin, as sleeping. So he should say tehillim on these 2 days, saying the entire tehillim each day. Tehillim has 150 kapetla, total 300 for both days. The gematria kapeh. Kapeh means he's referred to a complete kapara. If the first day of Rosh Hashanah comes out on Shabbos, Friday night in Magin Ovis we say Hamelach HaKadosh, and we do not say Avinu Malkeinu. Also, of course, there is no blowing shofar. On the second night of Rosh Hashanah, we say the Shechianu for Kiddush, and for candle lighting. And it is a custom for some people to cry, since this is Yom Arichta, it's considered one long day. Therefore, to be Yetzeh Misafik, saying Shechianu, take a new fruit, and in the Chavim, at the time of Kiddush, to cover the new fruit with a Shechianu, or a new beged, a new garment. However, the Arizal says there is absolutely no suffix in this din. You definitely may say Shechianu L'Chatchila, even though there is no new pedi or new beged. The Kriyas HaTorah on the first day of Rosh Hashanah is Hashem Pakat Esora. The din says that it is extremely important mitzvah for a person to make every attempt possible to have an aliyah on Rosh Hashanah, to get an aliyah l'Torah, especially when he has to bid for it, because the hashivus as a mitzvah is much greater, and he pays money for it, and the more money he pays, the greater the mitzvah. In the tefillah for Rosh Hashanah too, and after Yimei Teshuva, before Baruch Hu, we say Shir Hamalos Mima Amakim. Now, if a person is in the middle of Pesukei de Zimra after Baruch She'amar, he is allowed to say Shir Hamalos Mima Amakim together with the minyan, though he is not up to them. And later, when he gets to Yishtabach, after Yishtabach, he says it again for himself. Since this is a Yom Hadin, when every single person is judged in heaven for the coming year, the Arizal says that a person should be very careful, should attempt very much to cry during the davening, especially these days, at least tefillos, and that the person's neshama is not complete unless Chas v'Shalom he sheds tears. The greatest madrega is if a person can cry enough to be able to use these tears, take these tears, and to wash his forehead with them, because that's where the avenos of a person are carved out on the forehead. By washing his forehead with these tears, they are automatically erased. Also, to wash his hands with these tears, the sins too are on a person's hands. It means to have clean hands. This is what the Menachem said about a person who washes his hands many times. It's a siman tov for him. A person finds that suddenly in the middle of davening, he is dispirited, he's aroused to a great kavanah, and he starts to cry by himself. But he should know that Arizal says that at this moment it is his neshama that is being judged, and he should put a lot of kavanah into the davening at that moment to be zecher, to be nechta v'nechtam l'chayim. The most important mitzvah of Rosh Hashanah is the Tkiyas Shofar. It is a very vital din that under no conditions should a person be toyim anything before the Tkiyas. Not to eat Chas v'Shalom, not to taste anything, which means, of course, it cannot be done unless he makes Kiddush, to avoid making Kiddush before the Tkiyas. No matter how difficult it is, the minhag of not drinking water before davening, the Benazal's minhag, should be especially taken seriously on the most important day, according to the Benazal, which is Rosh Hashanah. There's under no condition should a person eat or taste anything whatsoever before the completion of all the Tkiyas, which means until after Musaf is ended. The brachos of the Tkiyas and the Tkiyas themselves should be said and listened to dafka while standing. The person is not to sit at any time during the Tkiyas, nor even to lean on anything, to lean on a table or a stender. It must be said mi'umad, standing. The Gemara learns this from the din of Omed. By Omed it says kama, which means standing. So too the Tkiyas should be said, should be heard while standing. In order to be Yetzer the mitzvah Tekiyas, a person must hear clearly every one of the Meya Kodesh, the 100 sounds that are blown on Rosh Hashanah. And therefore, those bringing small children to shul are responsible to see that these children should not, chas v'shalom, make any noise, and to spoil the chance of everyone present hearing every one of the Tekiyas. If there is any risk of these children not behaving properly, it is a duty of the parents not to bring these children to shul. The sachar for bringing them is small compared to the hefsid of bringing them and having them disturb the Tekiyas. Noshim legally are potter from Tekiyas Shofar, since it is B'tzesach Shazman Gilama. However, the minig is that Noshim too have accepted the din, and they are mechuyev to hear it, and the bracha too. Only if, in the case where a woman cannot come to shul, and the Tekiyas are blown at home for her to be Yetzer, the shaila is in carrying the shofar to that home. This is forbidden. Therefore, a person should blow a shofar for a woman only if he himself was not Yetzer in shul at the time, or if there is at least another man present. In blowing shofar for women, a bracha should be said by the woman and not by the Baal Tekeya if he himself was already Yetzer. The proper way of blowing the shofar is to hold it towards the right side, pointing upwards, but this is not the akev. Whichever way is more convenient for the Baal Tekeya, that's the way he should blow. While saying the two brachos before Tekiyas Shofar, the shofar must be completely covered. It should not be taken out, revealed until after the brachos are over, and then to start immediately blowing. There should be no hefsek. Before Tekiyas Shofar, we say the kapitel from the Tzeach of Nekedach Mizmar 7 times. The reason for this is that there are 587 words in these 7 kapitla, 7 times this kapitel, plus that is including the words min hametzah that are said before this kapitel. 587 is the gematria shofar with the kola. Also, in this kapitel, the word likim is found 7 times, or the tikkun of the Zayin Akiyim. And now the Seder HaTekiyas. There are 3 types of sounds: Tekiya, Shvorim, and Trua. 3 Sedorim: Tashrat, Tashat, and Tarat. There are 2 kinds of Tekiyas: Yushov and Mi'umad. Yushov means the ones that are blown, 30 colors that are blown before Shemana Esrei, and Mi'umad, the ones that are blown during the Shemana Esrei Balachash and during Chazoras Hashatz. That means you have 30 colors Miyushav. It's called Miyushav because it's before Shemana Esrei. Of course, it is blown while standing too. And there are 70 colors Mi'umad. The difference between these 2 is that in Tashrat, where you have Shvorim Trua together, during the Kailas to Miyushav, before Shemana Esrei, those 30 Kailas, in Tashrat, which is blown 3 times, the Shvorim and Trua are blown b'neshima achas, without taking a breath in between. Tashrat, Shvorim Trua b'neshima achas. During the 70 Kailas of Mi'umad, then the Shvorim Trua are blown b'beis neshimas. That means a breath is taken between the Shvorim and Trua, but this breath should be so fast that there should be no hefsek whatsoever between the Shvorim and Trua, which is considered one single kol. In the Tekiyas themselves, in Tashat and Tarat, there must be a hefsek neshima between each koil. If he blows tarat b'neshima achas, tekiya, trua tekiya, without taking a breath in between, there is a shaila whether he is yetzer with those tekiyas. Now the length of each one of these koilos, there is a machlekes, the Gemara, machlekes ha-poskim. There are 2 dayas. First daya. First Yeshayim hold that the length of a trua is gimel kochos. That means 3 short. The chlal, always, the tekiya must be at least as long as the koil in between the 2 tekiyas. The tekiya lefanel and the tekiya liacharel. A mushal in tashrat, the tekiya before and after must be as long as the shvarim trua in the middle. In tashat, the tekiya before and after must be as long as the shvarim in the middle. In tarat, the tekiya lefanel liacharel must be as long as the trua in the middle. The first daya holds that the length of a trua is 3 kochos. Therefore, the tekiya too is only 3 kochos long. So that in tarat, if he blows a tekiya as long as 3 kochos bialma, he is yetzer with that tekiya. Tashat, the tekiya must be longer, because the shavorim itself is longer than the trua. Now the shavorim must be less than 3 kochos for each shever, which means that all 3 shavarim should be no more than 8 kochos, because if the shever goes to a total of 3 kochos, it's no longer a shever according to this day, it has become a tekiya. So he's not yetzer with the shever. Therefore the 3 shavarim combined can be no more than 8 kochos maximum. In tashrat, the tekiya has to be as long as the shvarim and trua, which means that the tekiya must be at least 12 kochos, allowing for the 8 and a fraction kochos of the shvarim and the 3 kochos for the trua, so that the length of the tekiya in tashrat is 12 kochos, the length of the tekiya in tashat is 9 kochos, the length of the tekiya in tarat is 3 kochos according to this daya. There's no limit lamala, meaning that the tekiya can never be too long. Second daya holds that the shear of a trua is 9 kochos. 9 kochos. Therefore, in tarat, the minimum shear of a tekiya is 9 kochos. In tashat, since the shever itself could be made more than gimel kochos, in fact up to less than tes kochos, therefore the tekiya itself must be more than tes kochos too, to show the difference between tashat and tarat. In tashrat, where you have the combination of shvarim and trua, the minimum length for the tekiya is chai kochos, 18 kochos, keneged the shvarim and the trua. Now this is the chatchila, or in fact even the evet. The in tarat, the din is that bidi evet only, not the chatchila, but the evet only, he is yetzer if the tekiya is less than 9 kochos. Because bidi evet we can be samech on the first daya, which says the length of the tekiya is enough with 3 kochos. However, in tashat, he must blow the tekiya a minimum of 9 kochos to be yetzer, and in tashrat 18. The chatchila, the correct procedure is to have the shvarim to be 9 kochos. Each shever should be 3 kochos, which would make it equal to the trua, which is 9 kochos, and the tekiah itself to be 9 kochos in tarat, a little more in tashat, and 18 kochos in tashrat. That he eved only, he is yotze if the tekiah in tarat is at least 3 kochos. He is yotze if the shever is made longer, equals to 6 kochos each, which means close to 18 kochos for the gimel shvarim, and the same in the tashrat. But lechatchila, the tekiah of tashrat cannot be less than 18 kochos. The tekiah of tashat and tarat not less than 9 kochos, and slightly more for tashat. The shvarim, the gimel shvarim, must be blown by the shima achas. He cannot breathe between them, and he should not have more or less than exactly 3 shvarim. Now, if during the tekiyas of tashrat, after he blew in the shvarim teruah, after blowing 2 shvarim only, he made a mistake and began to blow the teruah, then if he reminds himself immediately, he can then blow again the shvarim and the teruah in order. If he did not remind himself until after he has completed the last tekiah, he must blow over the entire set. If during the tashat and tarat he made a mistake, and instead of in tashat he blew teruah instead of shvarim, he has spoiled the seder and must begin again with the first tekiah. If in tarat he blew a shvarim instead of teruah, he cannot just blow the teruah, but he must begin again from the first tekiah. And therefore, since in tashat the teruah is called a strange sound, a sound that doesn't belong there, or in tarat the shvarim is a sound that doesn't belong there, therefore in tarat, when he has to blow the teruah, there are some who begin the teruah with a long coil, slightly long coil like a shever, and go into the short coilers. He is not yetzer because he has brought in a shever. So the teruah must begin with a short sound and go right through the teruah. If at any time during the tekiyas he attempted to blow correctly and it didn't come out right, he couldn't blow it, and therefore it seemed like he had made the wrong sound, this is not me'akiv at all. He doesn't have to start from the beginning. He can try to repeat the correct sound that he's up to. During the tefillah balachash, a person who is not up to the end of malchias, zechrenis, or shofars when the batakeh begins to blow should stop immediately when the tekiyas begin, should listen very carefully and remain silent, and then continue davening. When he gets to the end of malchias, then he should first say to himself, Hayom haras olam. It is not considered a hefsek by listening. It is forbidden, of course, to speak or to be mafsek from the beginning of tekiyas to miyushal until after the mea kolos are finished. The thing is that tekiyas is more important than tefillah, and therefore the person has the choice between tefillah b'tzibur without a shofar, or just hearing shofar alone without tefillah b'tzibur, then the tekiyas take preference, even if it is a suffix, more so than a vadai tefillah. Unless the question of tefillah b'tzibur both days against the tekiyas of the second day alone, then the tefillah b'tzibur both days takes preference. In tefillas musaf, you must be very careful to say yes, musfei instead of musaf, because this includes both the Shana and the Shchodesh. On Shabbos, we do not say Tzedkoscha, and on Saturday night, we say Vatedienu. Very important to note that the tefillah of the Shemona Esrei, despite many poskim who say to the contrary, the Arizal says very strongly that tefillah must be said balachash. According to the Zohar Kodesh, a tefillah is chas v'shalom not neskabel if it is said out loud. So he should try his utmost to have as much kavanah as possible, though he says it to himself. No time to raise his voice where anybody else can hear his tefillah, and it's accepted most when he cannot hear his own voice. Baruch Hashem.